Ma'am, the girl lived with me in the orphanage. The old janitor's voice trembled as his eyes fixed on the portrait. The woman froze. Her heartbeat thundered in her ears. That portrait, the one hanging proudly in the grand hall, was of her late daughter, who had died 20 years ago. What secret could this frail old man possibly hold? And how did he know the face of someone long gone? Before we dive into this heart-touching mystery, make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel Hopeful Stories, where every story reminds you that compassion and hope can still change lives. The evening sun filtered through the tall glass windows of St. Helena's Art Museum, painting the marble floors with streaks of gold. Visitors whispered softly, admiring the newly unveiled portraits, a collection dedicated to the lost children of the city. Each painting told a silent story of children once forgotten, now remembered through brush and color. Among the crowd, a woman in her mid-40s stood still, her hands trembling as she stared at one particular portrait. A young girl with innocent brown eyes. Wearing a faded blue dress, isn't it beautiful? A museum curator said, noticing her frozen gaze. This one was painted based on an old orphanage photograph. No one knows her name? The artist simply called it The Girl in Blue. But the woman, Mrs. Livia Carter, didn't answer. Her lips quivered. That face, those eyes. The small mole near her lower lip. It was her daughter, Amelia. The daughter she lost in a house fire 2 decades ago. Her voice cracked. Where did this come from? Before the curator could respond, a soft metallic sound echoed through the hallway. The janitor's broom had clattered to the ground. The old man, gray-haired and thin, stood a few steps behind them, staring at the portrait as if he had seen a ghost. His lips moved in disbelief. Then, with a shaky hand, he pointed at the painting and whispered, "Ma'am, the girl lived with me in the orphanage." Livia turned sharply. "What did you say?" He swallowed hard, his eyes misty. "She was one of us. The quiet girl who never spoke much. Everyone called her Leah. But she disappeared one winter night. I thought she'd been adopted, or maybe—" He hesitated, voice trembling. "Maybe worse." Livia felt her knees weaken. "That can't be." "My daughter. She died when she was 7. The janitor's expression softened with sorrow. "Then, ma'am, maybe she didn't. Maybe someone saved her that night." The museum's lights flickered slightly, as though echoing the storm building within her heart. Memories rushed back, the smoke, the screams, the collapsing walls. She had searched, prayed, and mourned. Could it be possible that Amelia had lived somewhere else? Livia grabbed the old man's arm. "Tell me everything. What orphanage? Where?" The janitor, whose name was Joseph, nodded slowly. "St. Mary's home, out on the old countryside road near Ridgefield. It shut down 15 years ago." Her world tilted. That was only a few miles from where her home had burned down. The curator frowned, sensing the tension. "Ma'am, maybe we should—" But Livia was already walking away. She needed answers. As Joseph followed her out of the museum, his heart thudded with something he hadn't felt in years: guilt. He remembered the little girl who used to sit by the window, drawing pictures of a woman with long brown hair. "My mama will come for me," she would whisper. He never believed her then. But now, watching Livia's tear-streaked face, he wondered if that mother had finally found her way back. Outside, the city lights flickered on as night began to fall. Joseph looked up at the museum one last time and muttered, "Maybe it's time the truth came home." If this story has already captured your heart, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to Hopeful Stories, because the next chapter will reveal a truth that might change everything. The car headlights cut through the fog as Livia and Joseph drove down the lonely country road. The air smelled of rain and old wood. On the horizon stood the decaying remains of St. Mary's Orphanage, its roof sagging, its windows clouded with dust. Livia stepped out, her breath visible in the cold air. "It's still here," she whispered. Joseph nodded. "Barely. They left everything when it closed. Files, pictures, records. Maybe something still remains." They pushed open the creaking door, stepping into the shadows. The air was thick with silence. Only the echo of their footsteps followed. The walls were lined with faded photos of smiling children. Then, on a small wooden table near the back, Livia noticed something: a stack of old sketchbooks. Her trembling hands flipped through the pages until one drawing made her gasp. It was a picture of her, drawn in a child's hand with the words, "Mama, I'll find you one day." Tears filled her eyes. She was here. Joseph stood beside her, his own eyes moist. Leah used to draw that every night. She told us you'd come back. We never believed her. Livia pressed her hand to her mouth. Why didn't anyone look for her? He sighed. We tried. But back then, orphan records were a mess. She was found alone on the roadside after the fire. They said her mother was dead. We didn't know better. The truth struck Livia like a storm. Her daughter had lived, alone, waiting, believing. Just then, Joseph pulled out a small, faded envelope from his coat pocket. I found this years ago when they closed the orphanage. I think it belongs to you. Inside was a single photograph, a teenage girl standing in front of the orphanage gates, smiling faintly. On the back, in the same handwriting, "For Mama when she finds me." Livia's tears fell freely. She lived. She really lived. Joseph's voice was low. She did. But she left the orphanage when she was 15. No one knows where she went after that. A sob caught in Livia's throat. The emptiness she'd carried all those years now felt heavier, because it was filled with the truth. Yet beneath the sorrow there was something else: hope. She looked at Joseph, her eyes burning with determination. Then I'll find her, even if it takes me the rest of my life. As they stepped out into the night, the wind carried away years of silence. The moon hung low, lighting the old path ahead, the same path a little girl once walked alone, dreaming of her mother's face. Back in the museum, the portrait of the girl in blue seemed to shimmer faintly under the soft lights, as if her spirit was smiling, knowing that love had finally found its way home. Sometimes life separates us in ways we don't understand. But love, real love, always finds a way back. If this story touched your heart, please like this video. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel Hopeful Stories, where every tale reminds us that kindness, hope, and love never truly die.